In other news tonight, the problem of homelessness here in Wales is getting worse, according to new official figures, which show the number of people sleeping rough rising by nearly a quarter. It comes as homelessness is put right at the top of the political agenda. When he became Prime Minister, Andy Burnham's first instruction was to end rough sleeping. But he's only responsible for dealing with the problem in England. Here, successive Welsh Labour governments have tried and failed to get to grips with it. And now there are calls for the Plaid Cymru Welsh Government to make the same promise as the Prime Minister. Ella Lloyd reports.
Doing a light salad with smoky chicken.
Damien is head chef in this kitchen. He's one of a growing number of people sleeping rough in Wales. He's been coming here to the Welsh Solutions Centre for support and also helping to feed the staff and other people using the facility.
So I've just been out on the road now for about 3 weeks, just currently waiting for somebody to help me with housing, Brilliant. Get bathed, washed, do your clothes, food, like I said. Where else can you do this, And get to meet like everybody else with their own story as well. So, it does rally people up to want to do more with themselves as well as just staying alone and not chatting. You find, if you talk to some people, they haven't talked to somebody for 5 or 6 weeks, and that's quite sad.
In May this year, there were 162 people recorded as sleeping rough across Wales. That's up from the same time last year at 131. It's also more than the number recorded in May of the last 3 years. Here in Cardiff, there's the highest number of people sleeping rough at 45. More than double that of the next highest local authority, which is Swansea, with 18, closely followed by Bridgend with 16.
It's a bit of a hangout area and we've got lockers so people can put their belongings and keep them safe, which is really important.
At the new Solutions Centre, people can come and access help, get a hot meal or just have a chat. But staff say this alone won't be enough.
We're seeing quite a bit of an increase in demand. The guys, they're working 7 days a week, 365 days a year to provide really vital services. For so long we've been reacting to the problem, but if we're ever to see an end of rough sleeping, we must focus on prevention as well. So that's about supporting people not to lose their homes in the first place. For those who go into temporary accommodation, people get stuck because there isn't any homes for them to move into. We know there's not enough social homes.
The new Welsh Government says tackling homelessness, including prevention, is a priority.
The longer term answer is to provide more social homes. So that's why the Welsh Government have set a target of providing 20,000 new or extra social homes over the term of this Senedd. That is the way that we alleviate the problems.
In the meantime, places like this will continue to try and provide a warm welcome and a hot meal for those who need it. Ella Lloyd, ITV News.
Well, I'm joined now by Katie Dalton, Director of the housing charity Cymorth Cymru. Thanks for coming in, Katie. I think it was a few years ago you warned homelessness services were teetering on the edge of collapse. Has that happened?
We did get some additional funding from the previous Welsh Government that helped us to overcome some of those challenges. But if I'm honest, those services are still teetering on the edge. The funding increases that they've had in recent years have kind of brought them back to where they are about a decade ago, if you take inflation into account. And what we've seen consistently is reports of increased demand and increased complexity of the support needs. So services are continuing to run and make a huge difference to people's lives, but they are teetering on the edge and they need additional funding to help with that prevention work.
So is the main challenge is that the services simply can't meet demand, or is it more complicated than that?
I think it's multifaceted. So we absolutely need to have more social homes at the moment. So there are too many people who are becoming homeless and remaining homeless because there aren't enough social homes.
So the Minister was right there, then?
She is absolutely right. And that's got to undo 40, 50 years of not building enough social homes. But the support services for people are equally as important, because those are the things that prevent people from becoming homeless in the first place and help people to stay within their homes. So funding for those services will be really important in the next budget.
When you heard Andy Burnham make that speech, the very first thing he said, were you thinking, hurrah, but what about Wales?
Yes, it's great to see a political leader making that commitment to end rough sleeping, and there are certainly things that he can do in Westminster that would help us here in Wales. Things like increasing local housing allowance rates, which cap the amount of housing benefit that people in Wales can get. But the Welsh Government holds most of the levers here. We're calling on them to publish an Ending Homelessness Action Plan. The one under the previous government saw a huge amount of positive work, but clearly from the statistics we've seen today, there's a huge challenge still ahead. So we need to remain focused. We need to continue to prioritise that, and we're calling on the Welsh Government to publish the action plan as soon as possible.
Briefly, ending homelessness has been a priority for many previous governments. Can the new Plaid one do something different?
I think for me it's building on some of the things that have been put in place previously. So there was a social housing target last term. There's another ambitious target here that the Minister has talked about. We really welcome that. There's also the funding for support services, and at the end of the last term there was the passage of the Homelessness Act. The Plaid Cymru Government need to focus on implementation of that, and we're ready to help them and support them through that.
Katie Dalton, thank you very much indeed.